Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video. Bit of a late night video tonight, depending on where you are in the world, but I just got back from the Monster Hunter World event that Capcom UK put on in London, where we had a chance to face off against Nergigante in the beta build ahead of it going live on the 19th this month. What's more, I was able to record some gameplay while I was there, and since a large portion of the Nergigante stuff that we've seen up until now has been from 720p live streams, which are usually quite compressed and not that nice to watch, I thought you guys might like to see some nice crisp 1080p gameplay. The gameplay you're seeing is also one of our failed attempts, and I chose this one specifically because I think it does a good job of showing off some of Nergigante's moves, but also helps to illustrate that yes, there are plenty of challenges ahead. Off the back of the last two betas, there were a lot of questions, and there still are a lot of questions pertaining to difficulty, and while if you've ever played a Monster Hunter demo in the past, you should know only too well that they are never really indicative of the challenge the final game presents. That didn't stop the questions coming up. So with Nergigante set to join the fray at the end of the month, it'll at least give you guys a quick taste of a more challenging monster. Bear in mind, again, there's still plenty more ahead of you. Admittedly, in the beta, the quest is only 15 minutes, so you are somewhat forced to play a little more recklessly to get it done within the time limit, but regardless, I can say for sure that Nergigante is definitely a good, fun fight, and he does present a challenge. He's aggressive, he'll come at you with unrelenting attacks, and if you get caught, you'll soon find out that he hits you like a truck. So I figured I'd use this opportunity to talk about a few of his moves, some general observations, and a few things to keep in mind while fighting him. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Now, first up, as a super quick reminder, Nergigante is an Elder Dragon, so right off the bat, for those of you that are new to the series, aside from that meaning he is a serious threat, from a gameplay standpoint, it also means you cannot trap him using shock traps or pitfall traps, so those items in this quest are completely and utterly useless. You can, however, still paralyze him using status effects, so the shock hammer that's in the beta is useful, your paralysis and poison knives are great options, any shock coatings or bullets for your bows and bowguns are options too, and even the paratoads that you can kick. Those too will hold him in place. So there are still plenty of options for immobilizing him, you just won't be using traps. Now, the general premise for this monster is that he is hyper aggressive, and he has a regenerative ability. His body is covered in spikes, and as you attack him, or he attacks you, those spikes will break off. They will then regrow in white, and if left unchecked, they will go black. If this happens, the black spikes harden and they will cause your weapons to bounce. Typically, they're concentrated more notably on his front arms and his wings, as well as his tail, but in between those areas you do still of course have openings for attacks, so if you don't have a means to negate the bouncing, then you're going to have to reposition yourself to attack him. That being said, if you keep the spikes in check, then you can break the white spikes before they harden. However, if you don't, and you need to deal with the black spikes, then weapons that have natural Mind's Eye are also a great option. Examples being the Charge Blade, once you've used the Condensed Element Slash, that then adds Mind's Eye to the blade, or the Longsword Spirit combo, examples like that. That aside, the other thing worth noting about his spikes is that they can sort of act like an indicator as to when he's about to do some of his more powerful attacks. See, when he builds up to having a ton of hard black spikes, he will perform some of the more powerful moves that ultimately end up in these getting broken off, which then resets his body to normal and the process begins again. These moves, however, do a lot of damage. One such example, and you'll see this in the footage because it wipes out not one but two of us in one fell swoop and does about 3/4 of a life bar. That one's the one where he leaps in the air and he dive bombs you. He also has another one where he slams his fist into the ground, and a second or so later, spikes will come up around him. Those are the moves that you especially want to avoid. So pay close attention to the spikes forming. If he is largely covered in black spikes, know that it's likely not long before he performs one of these moves. Now in this gameplay that you're seeing, we were still learning his moves and learning the fight, so we were all playing a little bit more cautiously than normal. Bear in mind, this quest is more akin to that of a real quest in the final game, in that you only have 3 lives, so dying 3 times will see you fail the quest, whereas all the other beta quests have given you 9 lives just to give you a chance to get used to the game. The only difference being that this one has 15 minutes as opposed to the kind of conventional 50 minutes you would have in the real game. Pair that with the fact that we had a little experience fighting him, and that again explains why we were being a little bit more reserved. That being said, when you begin to get familiar with this monster, aggressive play is likely to be the best method for dealing with him, since it will allow you to keep on top of those spikes, prevent them from hardening, and you often find that being close is also a good way to avoid some of the more devastating attacks. But either way, For the time being, that's pretty much it from me. I didn't get a chance to play too much of the event, so there wasn't a great deal I was able to record, but I'll be sure to go much more in depth once the beta drops. And of course, I'll be streaming that with both TwoSixNine and Paradise, so we'll have plenty to share from then. In fact, once we have the time to sit down and learn its moves, we'll start trying to set some fast times, do some speed runs like last time, but in the meantime, this will give you guys a chance to see a little bit more gameplay from him and perhaps begin to understand what you need to look out for. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.
You need to load the slinger with some ammo. See anything useful lying around?